Welcome to Survivor NSFW. Yes, I'm back from the dead. Yes, I do not have the flu anymore, despite a little leftover cough. I'm in my basement for this Q&A because I got kicked out last night during the Castaway watch-alongs. I've been trying to get a lot of money that Jonny Fairplay wires me from time to time to build a fucking door in my office.
What happened with the door? Like you need to. You had door money, and now you're looking at green screen money. Are you putting up a green screen behind you, staying in the basement?
I'm gonna do something because the good thing, Jonny, about being in the basement is I can make as much fucking noise as I want. I mean, you've been to my house, right?
Yeah, it's a good basement.
So, yeah. So right now I put this up just for temporary. Under construction.
It's horrible. It's the word. Unprofessional. I'm extremely disappointed. We have company, Matt. We have fucking company, and you got a fucking black sheet hung up like it's fucking Sanford and Son behind you.
That's right. We got Wes in the house for the Q&A, and I'm pretty impressed that Wes has a better fucking beer than you do, Fairplay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your black screen, whatever that is impressive as my laundry room right here. So.
Oh, yeah. Is that a laundry? I thought that was like a fuse panel box.
Yeah, it's a laundry box. It's a laundry room.
You can put it like I don't know if you like live in like Puerto Rico and your power goes out like daily, but if not, I'm pretty sure you're in Seattle. Your power stays on, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You put a fucking poster or like a framed print. You hang it in front of it.
Yeah, maybe in a year or two. But yeah, I'm not as professional as you guys yet. So
yeah, but you do a podcast, right?
I do.
You don't do video though.
I used to do video, but it took a lot longer to edit. So,
but too many people got tired of looking at your fucking fuse box behind you, and you're like, you know what? Let me just make this audio only.
Exactly. I'm not as handsome as you two either. But yeah, thanks for having me on, you two jabronis. And before we get further along, I want to say it's your birthday today, Jonny, right?
My birthday was Monday, but I'm celebrating on Wednesday, which will have already aired by the time this airs.
Okay, well, happy belated birthday. I saw you got a birthday shout-out for Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake sent me a shout-out yesterday, and Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin, sent me a birthday shout-out today.
Oh, cool. Are you, like, besties with these guys?
Me and Brutus have spent a little time. Like I was Roddy Piper's personal assistant, and Greg the Hammer Valentine and I became pretty close. Still chat about every year or so. And Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, we talk about every holiday. So, but yeah, Brutus and I have hung out a few times. I asked the story. Matt, I don't know if you heard the story back in the anthrax scare days.
Yes.
Brutus Beefcake was working at a bus station, like the toll thing in Boston, and he had left his cocaine. His cocaine had fallen out of his pocket, and it was like on left there in the toll thing. And he had gone to lunch or whatever, and came back, and like Boston Transit's on lockdown because they thought it was an anthrax scare.
You mean to tell me I don't even care about the anthrax scare or the cocaine, but you're saying that Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake,
was a toll booth attendant.
Yes, in Boston
after his wrestling career.
Motherfucker, main event of Starrcade '97, I believe.
Did the disciple? You see the disciple at that point?
Yeah, the disciple versus Hulk, one of the worst Starrcade main events of all time. But you know, a regular at WrestleMania and SummerSlam, correct?
Well,
yes,
I mean, Jonny Fairplay has never outgrown wrestling. I watch wrestling and subscribe to WWF magazine.
That's what amazes me. You subscribe to the magazine and you make fun of me.
Yes, I had all the figures.
Yeah,
I had all the little bendy guys. I had the really nice figures, and then I had these really awesome Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan, like 2 foot tall.
Articulated deals.
Yes, the articulated. And
Sure.
I sold them a couple years ago to a friend of mine that collects 80s toys. I was trying to generate money for the insane Lego collection that I have for my boys. Right, so I got rid of that shit, right? But, dude, I remember watching Brutus the Barber Beefcake as a big. It was like him, Macho Man Savage, George the Animal Steel, Superfly Snuka. Sure. That was my era. And to think now that the guy was a toll booth attendant makes me sad for you that you still watch wrestling, Johnny.
Well, but I think the highlight of the story is that Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake sent me a happy birthday tweet.
It is. That is great. I love it.
He's strutting and cutting, brother.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're friends with the whole Hulk Hogan clan. Have you hung out at Hogan's house at any point?
I have not. I've hung out with Hogan a few times. I think if I don't think Hogan thinks to ask me to invite me, but I think if I invited myself, I would be welcome to hang out. So if one of those deals like hey brother, I'm heading down to Tampa. I'd love to check out the memorabilia. Because Hogan loves to brag. We all do to some extent. Hogan more so than most. I'm sure brother, this pinball machine's about $18,000. It's well, it sells for $4,000, but
this is actually good that we're talking about wrestling now. I figured that we were going to get to wrestling at some point, so I do actually have some wrestling questions for you.
All right. Matt will shit on them, but
well, okay. So we already had a wrestler. We had 2 wrestlers on Survivor so far. Anyone in the past? Hold
on. I think we had technically had 4 wrestlers on. No, 5, 6. We've had 6. We've had 6 wrestlers on Survivor thus far.
Okay. Sorry, you're one of 3, right? Or okay, 6? Yeah. Who else?
6. Okay, so John Hennigan, me, Ashley Massaro, Billy Garcia was trained by Johnny Rods. Jenna Maraska would sign a TNA contract, would have what is considered the worst match in the history of professional wrestling against Sharmell in TNA. And Bubba Bubba was on Vanuatu, I believe.
Yeah.
He was an indie worker.
Bubba on Chris Jordan's season, right?
It wasn't that Bubba Travis Sampson.
Travis Sampson, yeah.
Yes, he was an indie worker.
You don't know this stuff, Matt? You don't know who Bubba is?
Well, I know Bubba. Yeah,
well, that's what we're asking about Bubba.
But I didn't know he was a wrestler. I know him as a Survivor player, but I don't know him as a wrestler. I didn't know. I knew Billy Garcia wrestled. I've seen some stuff of him online and with you, Johnny.
And we had a mixed tag. I gave him a Bret Hart clothesline. It's probably the best wrestling move I've ever performed on anyone. So like the legs outstretched, like the heart attack style clothesline. I gave Billy Garcia one. It felt so good because I was just like, "Can I try?" He's like, "Brother, you can do whatever you want." I'm like, "All right." Then I did the fucking "you can't see me," and I was like, "Ugh, I'm embarrassed by myself."
So the question is, which wrestler from the '90s would have been great on Survivor?
Ooh, none of them would have passed the drug test.
Okay, so
90s actually no, I take that back. 90s they would, 80s they would not have. 80s they were all. Do you guys remember the wrestler Gangrel, the vampire used to spit the blood and stuff? Uh-huh. He was right after that. What used if you hung around for a little bit after that, Matt, there's a vampire wrestler named Gangrel who had fangs, and him and I used to hang out, and I used to go to Winnipeg every 3 weeks in 2011, and for this wrestling promotion, and Gangrel's like, "Brother," he goes, "you would have been the great," he goes, "if you had hit in the late 80s, he goes, you would have been the greatest wrestling manager of all time." He's like, bar none, just amazing. He goes, "You'd be dead right now." He goes, "I guarantee you'd be dead, but you would have been the best."
I don't think I can answer this question because I think it's geared more toward Johnny, but I think Bobby the Brain Heenan or Junkyard Dog would be 2 hilarious people to watch play Survivor. Junkyard Dog, as an old school wrestling fan, I think would just be hilarious. He would play the role of the coach or Philip Shepard, crazy guy.
He'd be like Big Tom.
And then Bobby Heenan, dude. Bobby the Brain Heenan was a hilarious manager. And I think he would have been like a Russell Hantz type guy if he was to play Survivor. That's my 2 picks.
Probably similar education background. I don't know if Russell Hantz graduated high school, and I don't believe Bobby Heenan did.
Right on.
Bobby Heenan is self-professed, one of the smartest, a true genius of the industry. But yeah, no, he had to quit school, believe maybe even ninth grade to support his family.
Wow.
So yeah,
Bobby the Brain Heenan is not an asinine suggestion off.
No. I mean, if I were to compare Bobby Heenan to any Survivor, I think he would be a cross between Johnny Fairplay and Russell Hantz.
Well, hey.
So I mean, I would have liked his chances. Junkyard Dog, I would have compared more to a Big Tom than a Philip Shepard.
Gotcha.
I mean, I understand the pigmentation comparison, but otherwise, I think much more Big Tom.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Cool. Because wrestlers have great mic skills, and I think John Hennigan, I feel like they didn't really let him go off. He was kind of in the background for like 20 days and then got voted out. It would have been interesting to see what he would have been like.
I think he brought what he had. I mean, I think like anyone that knows John Hennigan, and I kind of alluded to it throughout the season on the podcast. He's a quirky, kind of strange guy, amongst his peers, and I think like on that one scene where you see him and Christian become, because like Christian's like, oh my God, they can relate to me, and it's just like, well, he's very, minus the muscles, he is you. So no, I think you saw pretty much everything John could bring to the table, other than just a spree of immunity wins. But I don't think that has anything to do with his promos or lack thereof. I think you got a pretty full encapsulation of that character.
Cool. Am I still going? You want me to still ask questions?
Oh,
yeah.
We
don't. Yeah.
I've listened to more Fairplay content this week than I've ever listened to before. I have to say.
I apologize.
I'm a Fairplay fan. I think I celebrate your entire catalog. But I love So I listened to your Rob interview, and you talked about how you hate Mactors, and I can't agree with you more. That they ruined so many seasons.
Well, I mean, as far as having sex, I'm pro Mactor. I think they're great. But as far as watching on Survivor, not so much. But then again, I don't know, Matt. What do you think? I was living in Los Angeles.
You don't qualify as a Mactor.
I don't. Okay.
I think people like
Reynolds
from Caramoan.
Michael Yerger.
Yeah,
Michael Yerger. Yeah, those types. Chris Noble.
Yeah. Pretty much anyone from Ghost Island except for Wendell.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendell's pretty. Let's not. I mean, I'm not fronting on Wendell's
Chris on Edge of Extinction.
Yeah, Jacob Derwin was really an actor, wasn't he?
No, Jay. We I don't reference Jacob Derwin in anything.
But I feel that. The whole Mactor thing. Here's an interesting thing, you guys. So, as you guys know, I had the flu. Literally, I was in my bedroom sequestered for like 7 days. The first few days were very, very terrible.
Will you be honest with me now, Matt? I mean, this is the Q&A. We got the patrons watching. This is come clean time. Yep. All right.
Yep.
It's no secret for those that are in the know. There was some finals casting this past week in Los Angeles. So you claim you had the flu.
That is a good alibi. No, I really did have the flu. I wish I could come clean and say that I was in the mix for Fans versus Favorites 3 or Blood versus Water 3, but it didn't happen. But what I'm telling you is this. The first few days, I couldn't do anything but just sleep. I had this bad fever, and then I got some Tamiflu medication in my body. So I said, okay, I'm well enough to actually watch some TV because I have a motorized bed. So I clicked that bitch up and got into the lounge position, and I watched the entire Survivor token chains.
What's your sleep number setting, Matt?
I don't have a sleep number bed.
Okay,
but I wish I did.
I listened to enough podcasts that I had to ask that question.
I watched Survivor token chains, and then I'm like 10 episodes in on heroes versus villains.
You're never going to finish that. You know that, right?
No, I'm going to.
I'm going to.
But
I'm
the
determined.
thing, what I'm getting at is going back to this Mactor thing.
Yeah.
Watching Tokenchins was really amazing for me because I've never gone back and watched that season. And to watch people like Stephen Fishback and JT and Coach play, and even Taj, and even Sandy, who I've met at different events. She lives close by me.
She's nice.
So to watch these characters and to see these people that actually they were not Mactors. They were people that played the game and had good strategic gameplay, and they were your normal people. Sandy was an older person. Taj wasn't the most in shape of people, right? You guys Fishback the nerd. It brought back what the core essence of Survivor is. Not only with the cast, but with the location, which you had the different culture of Brazil and not just the Fiji bullshit. You had things like the Survivor auction, the rites of passage, and it just brings back, wow, there's something magic. I mean, whether you think that Tokenchins is a great season or not,
I do.
It, to me, was the pure essence of Survivor and what I love about Survivor. And I think we're, lacking that, especially in Edge of Extinction, coming off a great season like David versus Goliath, which was
a throwback season.
You know, David versus Goliath was amazing. Yeah. And Edge of Extinction right now has been kind of subpar. Obviously, I'm a huge fan.
Did you catch up
on Edge of Extinction? Yes,
yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What did you think? I think the right move was Kelly Wentworth.
Yeah, I think David. I mean, there's debate about that. I mean, people think, oh, it's too early for that, but I think going for her was probably the smartest move. Honestly, with the returning players, David Wright is playing the most superb game out of the 4 returnees. I am not a fan of the 4 returnee deal, but watching it thus far, I think David is killing it and making the best of it and changing his way of playing based on the fact that there's 4 Survivor players playing in this season.
I think adaptability is one of the greatest skills that a Survivor, and especially a returning Survivor, can bring to the table. So
now that Swap is coming, do you think David's going to be like this kind of floater candidate who could sway numbers in a tribe, or is he going to go back to his original Manu? Manu people.
I think David's going to wait. Like if I'm David, I'm not legally bound to anything. I test the waters, dip my toe in, see what's there, and make adjustments accordingly, just like he's done, from the beginning.
I think David has the least target on his back of anyone from the returning players. I mean, you got, everyone's scared of Wentworth and Joe and Aubrey. I think David's like, he could slide in there, dude, and make it really deep into this game, honestly.
He should. I don't see. I mean, the only thing working against him is failed completions on targets. Like when you throw out Wentworth, you get rid of Wentworth, or that can come back to bite you in the ass. And so that's the only thing. Like, he's just like, oh, we have this other option. You threw it out there. Let's get rid of Wentworth. You finish that deal. Is the way that's how I play, because word travels back to Wentworth, hey, but we got rid of Chris, but the original plan from David was to get rid of you, and then there's this target that's unnecessary if you had just finish that deal.
Right.
To go back to your point, Matt, about Tokenchins being a perfect season, it really was. I mean, I think we were spoiled back in the day, or they've just kind of ruined the location, because Fiji to me is really destroying the seasons. The more we're in Fiji,
No, stop saying that.
Why?
Because when you go, they give you 2 tickets to go back, and then when you get voted out, the Ponderosa is the best in the history of the show.
Okay.
And so until I go back, then they can fucking put it in Antarctica for all I fucking care.
But yeah, I mean, dude, yes.
As a viewer, yeah.
Yes, I know what Johnny's saying. Obviously, like, I was in the Philippines. I had a shitty Ponderosa, right? It was at a resort, but it wasn't a resort. But going and seeing the culture of these different places around the world, that
was always really cool. Yeah, that was always a cool episode.
At least, the Amazing Race kind of brings you that kind of scenario for CBS television. But I don't know. I think it was special for the contestants, and it was a history lesson. Like, if I'm sitting there watching with my kids, I'm like, oh wow, guys, look at how these tribes people live, or look at what, and you don't get that. It's like perfect, gorgeous, crystal clear water, and I get it. They want to have the eye candy. I know why they do it, but I think there's a sacrifice for the coolness of what Survivor was originally intended to be with the different locations.
All right, well, imagine this scenario then, Matt. You get called for Blood versus Water 3. It's you and Tessa. Mm-hmm. So you guys go and play at the finale. You get your finale money, and you each get 2 tickets from Fiji Air, because that's part of your package.
I get that.
So now you have 4 tickets to return to Fiji. You take the boys, you show them where you guys played Survivor. How fucking cool is that?
That's cool. Why can't they do that with Survivor?
Nope. Because it never happened before until they made this deal with Fiji, and I don't see any, how many. We're closing in on season 40. It took till season 36 to get some kind of deal like this.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But I mean, is it selfish on my part? Yes. Would it be selfish on your part? Yes. But I'm cool with being. I mean, I paid my fucking Survivor dues. I lived on fucking shit Pearl Islands and shit Micronesia. So give me fucking Fiji and 2 fucking plane tickets, please.
Right.
Well, so you talked about your due. So you've been in the community ever since you were on. What do you think about all these people coming out of the woodwork to try to get back on now, who kind of ditched the show?
I think they're wasting their time. Mm-hmm. I think if they haven't got the phone call by 2 weeks ago, they ain't getting the phone call. And I don't at this point, you heard me on Rob Has a Podcast when he was like, what do you think? And I said, no. I feel like I answered a lot of questions there. So
you're saying like the Spencer Bledsoes of the world, for example, coming out all of a sudden out of nowhere, all over social media.
Yeah, like Kobe's too, and just a lot of other people. Twyla.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that none of it matters, because honestly, I think that if Survivor was to do a Legends season, which they're not, if they were, it doesn't matter what Jonny, Fairplay, and Rupert, and Boston Rob, and Coach, and Suri, and Poverty, and people like that are doing. It doesn't matter if they tweet every day or not. They're going to call them, and that's the way it is. And so I think it is a waste of time.
Their list is their list, and there's nothing that you do outside that list that changes that list.
Yeah, and for me, it sucks because I love Survivor, dude, and I know that Fans versus Favorites that I was on, there was a lot of drama and attention on Philip Shepard, Brandon Hance. I don't feel like my gameplay with Michael Snow, who we had on our watch along, I don't feel like our big time strategic gameplay was showed.
We had glimpses of it.
Well, you did have glimpses of it, but
you could tell the story going on, but you didn't. But it wasn't expanded upon in any way. No, it was just like you guys kept fucking over Reynolds and Eddie, but like, each vote, it's you and Michael Snow calling all the shots, and it's obvious.
Right.
But we're not getting you guys, like you guys could, if there's not the craziness of Philip Shepard and Brandon Hance and the laziness of Shamar, then you and Matt get more of a Dom and Wendell edit, at least in the first half of the season.
Oh yeah, and I went watching Token Chins. I'm like, damn, dude. Like I texted Michael Snow. I was like, man, fuck, dude. Like Fishback and JT reminds me of you and I. It's what I envisioned it to be, which it wasn't. But what I'm saying is, I did.
But
not
you got
make
a car crash going on beside you.
I know. I did not
with
make
clowns running around a flaming car.
Yes, I know.
You kind of had like everything kind of going your way to an extent. You were losing people on your tribe, but you had two people basically quitting the game too.
Oh yeah.
So,
but what I'm saying, getting back to the original point, is like, does Jonny get pissed that all these people coming out of the woodwork? I have never gone on social media and said, did some big fucking campaign to try to get attention to get back on. I realized that
you just joined up on the biggest unauthorized podcast on the planet.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
It's like, here's how I write my resume, motherfucker.
I was pre-jury. Like, if I'm ever to get called back for Survivor, it's going to be because of Jonny, Fairplay, and I, or they're going to want a hot chick and her husband on Blood versus Water, which would be my wife and myself, or somehow miraculously they're looking for the tattooed, bearded archetype for like a Fans versus Favorites 3, like when they brought out the guy Ice Cream Scooper. It is a shame, and I'm fucking bummed that I got cast for Survivor Fans Favorites, because there was multiple people, dude, at my LA finals that made it on seasons after mine, that I feel that if I was on those seasons, I would have made a way bigger impact on the game. That was Tyler Fredrickson from the Dirty 30. That was Jeremiah Wood from, Brains, Brawn, Beauty.
He was at my party Wednesday night.
Yeah, so
that happens tomorrow night.
Max Dawson from the Dirty 30 was at my finals, got cut. I made the show, but I don't know. It is what
it's the gift of the Magi, Matt.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I got to play, and proving when we did the watch-alongs, we did some with Michael Snow, and he's my dear friend. It's like the bearded fucking troll from Cincinnati and the gay event planner from New York City, and we were best friends out there, played the game. He was very smart, and that was a gift to become friends with him. And actually, Jonny, I didn't know if I told you this, but I get a text message from Michael today. He was like real pumped that he got to do the show, and he said, "What'd he say? I would love to see Jonny play again. I think he could win." From Michael Snow.
Wow, there you go. You heard it from the Bruce Willis of Survivor, yeah. Michael Snow.
Yeah. He also said Jonny is very festive, whatever the fuck that means. But
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that gay jargon?
Maybe.
I don't know.
So speaking of Caramoan, Matt, you probably talked about this like so many times, but what was that incident like, Brandon, like being there?
Dude, I mean, we watched this episode this week. It was crazy, dude. As a fan, I have watched since day one. See, we would go to my mom's house, my wife and I. We were dating at the time, and every Wednesday, I believe it was, my niece would go to my mom's house, and we're like, "Oh, let's watch this show, Survivor." I was hooked from day one. So it's
what was the seating arrangement? Please tell me that you sat in the middle and your wife was on one side and your mom was on the other.
No. It wasn't. I was on the floor. I think I was on the floor playing with my niece, watching Survivor.
I imagine like you with like a tub of popcorn, and then like doing the popcorn trick, and like your mom goes in for like the last handful, and you're like, no.
That's hilarious, dude. But as a fan, dude, the Hance deal was unbelievable. I felt like, holy shit, like in all these years of watching Survivor, I think right now I am a part of something that is epic, never happened before, and this is pretty fucking intense, seeing an emotional breakdown that's going to be on national television. And it got heated. We were watching it during the watch-along, and Jeff Probst is like massaging Brandon. I thought there could be some physical violence. I mean, obviously there's people everywhere. They're not going to let that happen. However,
I think I'm guessing a couple punches happen before you see the people coming out of the trees. Because Brandon Hans is a wiry guy.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he can get. I mean, like Philip. Philip
can
run.
A boxer too.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think he was an amateur boxer as well.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
It was very intense. I knew that it was going to be.
I kind of wish he had thrown a few punches. If he throws a few punches, then he's automatically banned from the finale. You're on the stage.
Yeah. I mean,
instead of he's a possibility for the finale, and then the Russell situation, and then we have to, and then we quietly diffuse it by putting the pre-jury on in the correct. Like I think if Brandon throws a punch, he's banned.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing is, when I'm sitting there, and it was going down, I'm like, well, hell yeah, like.
Yeah.
I'll take immunity for one, and for two, I know that this tribe, we thought it was all good and dandy, and we know it wasn't. So we got a lot of intel based off of that Brandon Hans meltdown. So I think that.
Did you think prior to that they were all hunky dory over there, or?
I mean, to a degree, I guess. We didn't think that there was anything majorly
not like
crazy
that
going on, right? So.
Because you're just like, fuck, we're the fucking idiot fans going against these favorites. We're the ones that can't get our shit together. They're bound to have gotten their shit together. They're fucking favorites.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So could you tell at the beginning of your Fans vs. Favorites season that not everybody was a fan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, like, it didn't take long to figure out who was a fan of the show and who wasn't. I mean, from the challenge, and just we get to the beach the first day, and it's like you have Reynolds and Eddie just like wanting to go out and, hey, let's explore the island, and I'm immediately looking for, is there a clue to an idol? Is there an idol? Is what's the deal? Working hard. So it was very obvious to me who was there to play the game and who wasn't.
Yeah, I think it was obvious who was and who wasn't when we're doing the Castaway Watch Along, and Matt reaches out to Reynolds and it's like, "Hey, we're doing this Castaway Watch Along. We talk to some of the fans. Where we do a companion piece, for the fans, to watch it." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit about shit like that."
Yeah, I mean,
that was my clue that he might have been a recruit, not really a fan of the show.
I reached out to him, dude, and I even reached out to Eddie and to give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, yeah, I'm real busy, and
I would rather do anything else. If anything else is available, hit me up for that, and I'd be more than willing to do that. Other than entertaining Survivor fans for any fucking reason whatsoever.
The thing is, but before I got in cahoots with Jonny Fairplay on this podcast, man, as a fan, when anyone asked me to do a Survivor-related podcast, if I had the time, which I normally would make time, I would do it, dude, because I am a fan of the show. And to me, it's my legacy, and I'm a storyteller, and to be able to share my experience and my opinions with people, I'm going to fucking do it. So when I asked Reynolds and shit like that, and it's like, God, dude, it's just a reiteration of, like, it makes me even more pissed that dudes like that made it deep into the game of Survivor when I was devastated that I got voted the fuck out, because it meant so much to me, dude, to be there and to know that there's fucking people by luck on the tribe swap, and wow, you're on the fucking stronger team, and you got the better end of the deal in the tribe swap, and I didn't, and I get voted out because I'm a fucking threat. It fucking sucked.
Yeah. Conversely, when I think of Survivor podcasts, and people ask me, I always say no because I don't want to do them.
Noted. So I'm just trying to look at who voted you out.
Who,
Matt.
me?
No. That's
You're not there yet. Okay.
So yeah, no. We're so close. I know so like I have not seen Pat. All right, so the episode we just did, the last watch along, which will air next Monday on the Patreon, that is the brain enhanced meltdown and quit. So that's all I've ever seen of your season is up to there. I tapped, like, I I'm just like, I'd heard about it, and I was like, okay, I want to see it. And then also, like, I think I got the Iggy about Cochran, and I'm just like, you know what? I can stop here. I'm good. I don't need to see anything else. So everything starting with the not this coming Monday, but the following Monday's Castaway Watch Along is all new to me, and I'm super pumped, super excited. I'm wondering, all right, Matt, do you suggest that I watch each one before so I get the full impact, or just watch along with you and feel it as like you
I
get
don't know.
this?
I mean, it's hard to if you've never watched the season. It's hard. To, like the watch-alongs we do are pretty fucking intense, and you really get, because half the time you're going off on some tangent, I'm going off on a tangent, and you miss half the shit. So I honestly would give it a chance to maybe watch the Brandon Hans episode and the one we're going to do prior to it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So your season came out in 2012. I just looked that up.
Well, it actually came out, like, we filmed in 2012. It aired February to May of 2013 or whatever.
Okay, so social media was pretty big back then still.
Yes, right.
Not as bad and like chaotic as it is right now.
Right.
So you should be kind of thankful that you went on Survivor then now, because I can't imagine some of the shit that some of these contestants get now on social media.
Dude, here's the thing. Before Survivor, I had a badass fucking life, and after Survivor, minus this shit, I have a badass life, right? I sing in fucking bands. I do all kinds of cool shit, right? So,
minus the podcast? Podcast?
No. What I'm telling you, dude, is like, if Survivor doesn't exist, I would never do a podcast with Jonny, right? So what I'm saying is, like, before Survivor, other than this, like, I have a fucking cool life. So, like, Survivor doesn't define everything that I am. I'm stoked I have this in my life. It's one of my favorite things that fucking ever happened to me. But
no,
I would say bring it on. If I am not scared, I know there's going to be haters. If I was going on now, I'd say fucking bring on the fucking social media. And I wish Jonny or myself could go on, because I would love to see what 2019 fans and people that watch the show would say about a character like Jonny Fairplay and a character like me.
I blocked 5 assholes on Reddit today.
5?
Today,
wow.
5. You know what? I'm done with it. I don't even know when I'm ever going back to Reddit. I was so fucking pissed off.
It's the worst play. It's
so I look at Reddit and, like, if you really want to know the answer to something, you go to Reddit. But, because, like, if there's a wrestling scoop, it's like, oh, so you go there, you look on the squared circle or whatever, the Reddit, there's tons of real information, mostly stolen from the Wrestling Observer or whatever. Other, like PlayStation 4, if you're looking for something, you go to, like that's where you can get a lot of real information. But you go on there for Survivor stuff, and I sit there and read. I'm just like, not true, lie, perpetuated bullshit that's been said so many times. They think it's fucking true, but it really fucking isn't. And I'm just like, okay, if this is so fucking wrong, is all of Reddit fucking wrong? Because it could be. It could be these same assholes, that love something else just as much as these people love Survivor, and they just fucking lie all fucking day.
See, I don't even go on Reddit. I didn't even know what the fuck Reddit was until about fucking 6 months ago. I don't fucking care.
It's just a bunch of asshole nerds who sponge up information and try to one-up each other. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
So saying Reddit's not always true, Jonny. So Kelly Wigglesworth didn't give a blowjob for a sandwich on Borneo.
It was for beef jerky.
Was it beef jerky, or wasn't that Australia? Or
No, I think it was beef jerky. It might have been a sandwich. I think it was. I think she got fed multiple times, but it was for a blowjob. So according to rumor and innuendo.
Yeah, that's just some rumors.
Even though Jenna Lewis backed that up.
You're saying Kelly Wigglesworth gave head to a producer or a cameraman in order for food.
It's a Survivor urban legend. You know, who knows?
Well, no, Jenna Lewis backed that up on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess it's fact then.
No, it's according to rumor and innuendo. But yes, it's fact. This is Patreon. We can say whatever the fuck we. Yeah, no, it's true.
So people should come here for the facts about what really happened in the old seasons.
Yeah, I mean, like
find cocaine on Panama.
Shane and Courtney, a kilo washed up, and Shane and Courtney found it, and they took off running in the woods as fast as they could, and they got a few rails before production got them.
You should do a whole episode on Survivor Urban Legends.
No, no, I'm not like, this is what Q&A is for, and I say some shit I'm not supposed to every now and then, but like, I'd like to go back, so I don't, I will say this. All right, so on Fans vs. Favorites, at night, security isn't like, security used to be hardcore on Pearl Islands, but by the time I went back for Fans vs. Favorites, it was fucking nuts. Like, we used to have a full camera crew at night, and then there was like, they just set up a camera and fucking leave. So we just turn it the other way and just say, fuck you. So they had this one security guard that would watch the production's stuff. Mm-hmm. And apparently he was a heavy sleeper. And so James and Alexis would go at night. James, I think, went multiple times. I think Alexis at least went once. But they would go get snacks and drink. Like, if you look at a lot of the confessionals on Fans vs. Favorites, James has a red tongue from drinking Gatorade. And wow. And he was eating Funyuns at night. Like, they had, like, where do you get, like, it's hard to find fucking Funyuns like now at a fucking grid. This motherfucker's eating Funyuns on the in Micronesia. So, but Alexis leaves the game on Fans vs. Favorites because she twisted her knee, but there's no footage of her hurting her knee. It's because that last night they went for snacks. The security guard woke up and he's chasing them back, and she falls in the wood and she twists her knee running back from getting snacks.
Well, they must not have been too mad at James because he came back for Heroes vs. Villains. So,
yeah, I mean, they weren't too mad at. I mean, they asked me to come back for Heroes vs. Villains. So,
were you blackballed at one point?
No, I was never blackballed, ever.
Because that's like a rumor that's always
innuendo. So, and I even went so far as to call casting at the beginning of this year. Just like, hey, am I wasting my time even thinking there? I'm like, is there a blacklist? And they're like, there's no fucking blacklist, Johnny. Anyone can come back. There is no blacklist. Like, thank you very much.
So Matt's not on the blacklist.
No, I'm not on the blacklist. I'm one of the fucking nicest survivors. Who?
No, Matt, I'm sorry. They told me you were. Colton Crumby can come back, but you can't. Oh, it's weird. What did you do?
Dude, Colton Crumby.
I don't even know his name. Yeah. Crumby. It's not Crumby.
One World, yes. I remember Colton.
Yes. Has Colton ever done a Survivor? Because people they're just like, have you met? I'm like, I've never met Colton. I'd imagine he doesn't go to events.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I thought he was. I always like the gay dudes on Survivor. Bryce.
Well, we know.
Colton, Jonny Fairplay. I like them all.
Listen, one of us has a beard here.
Oh, shit. Are you drinking moonshine, Wes?
No, it's lemon water.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You just put whole lemons in there? Shouldn't you slice them?
No, yeah, I juiced them earlier and just threw them in there.
Okay.
Oh, real quick. So, a couple of movies I watched, and I don't want to get off topic, but if you guys haven't seen the movie Free Solo, it's a documentary on this free climb, like a rock climber dude that climbed up this freaking insane. I think it's like the screensaver on my Mac, dude.
I think it was El Capitan.
El Capitan at Yosemite.
That is the screensaver.
Yes, this
the
motherfucker,
that's
dude.
the name of the thing.
Yes, this motherfucker free climb without ropes, El Capitan. So, like, I was watching, dude, in disbelief because you make one mistake and you're fucked. And it showed this dude, like, he climbed it, like, all kinds of times, like, because there's different sections or whatever. And he fell tons of times with a rope, right? And he had this crazy notebook where he knew exactly every little crevice and thing. When I get to this point, you look for this and you got to do this. The dude's like a mad scientist. Excuse me. This dude climbed this thing, dude. If you got a chance to watch Free Solo, it's mind-boggling.
Did you watch Abducted in Plain Sight for me?
No, I watched. Here's what I watched.
Why did you watch that? You had a recommendation,
dude. Because I forgot. I watched I watched Leaving Neverland.
Yeah.
And
how was it? I haven't watched that yet.
Wow. I heard the word penis and anus dozens of times. I learned that it's fucked up. I kind of wish.
Did you believe it or not?
But
I believed it. I mean, to me, it's like, dude, Michael Jackson.
But the guy saying this testified in court.
I understand that. I understand the whole history of it. He testified. He never touched me. He never touched me. He never touched me. And then, yes, years later, he fucking touched me.
But I mean, but they had a chance. Like, you know, like why would he lie then and not like that's I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so I watched that Free Solo, and then I watched Tokenchins and Heroes Villains.
Villains. Minus the last 3 episodes, which you'll never watch.
Heroes Villains. Russell Hantz, who I loved watching Russell Hantz the first time I saw him play. Yeah. But Jonny and I have discussed the difference between a character like Jonny Fairplay, who is a villain, and Russell Hantz. Is Jonny Fairplay is not truly evil. And
I'm not a sociopath. Big difference between evil and sociopath.
Right. So Russell on Heroes Villains, wow, he does some fucking sociopathic shit.
Yeah.
But
and also compounded on top of that, he had just filmed Samoa, had just gotten back, and they're like, "Hey, can you come back and play again?" And your body is not physically or mentally prepared to do something like that back to back. Especially the mind of a sociopath.
Yeah, I mean, but I tell you what,
he is technically insane at the end of Heroes Villains.
What I do notice though is how gnarly and physical the challenges were.
Yeah, fuck that. That shit sucked.
It was, dude, brutal.
Not cool.
I was
why was that necessary? I mean, like I watched, like you ever watch the MTV challenge stuff? Like those kids kill each other. And it's just like, okay, leave that to them. Like, let's fucking do puzzles.
Right. I mean, dude, it was danger. Everyone's getting hurt, dude. And I was thinking to myself, I'm trying to put myself in that scenario. I would be freaked out of getting majorly hurt, dude.
I wouldn't. I'd be ducking and bobbing and weaving, like avoiding shit.
Right.
Are you talking about like that first challenge, the capture the flag challenge?
Well, there's the first challenge, and where
Stephanie like popped her shoulder out.
Rupert broke his toe, and then there was other ones where they were like,
Sugar's tits flew out.
Oh yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, that was funny. And then they do the challenge where they have.
Did you hear about the alliance on that one?
No.
Is this a pregame?
The pregame. So right before they went out there was a reality event. It might have been the Cincinnati event or it was either the Florida event. Anyway, right before everyone was leaving, Sugar took JT to her room and things were done. And Sugar came out and said, "That's how you make an alliance." And JT goes out there is like, "Yeah, we're not an alliance." Thanks.
That's funny.
But that's not an alliance.
Was there? Yeah. Were you? So you were in contention for Heroes vs. Villains too, right?
I was cast. I got a call 2 weeks before we left, and they're just like, "Hey, Hatch can't leave the country," and I'm like, "Okay," and they're like, "Well, the cast that we have that involved you also involved Hatch and someone else, and so when we shifted to a cast that didn't have Hatch, it didn't have you. So I think somehow, like, you know, like they attempt to, at least according to rumor and innuendo, have your equal on the other tribe. So like they're playing like on fans versus favorites. My equal was supposed to be Chet. And you watch Chet, and you're just like, that's a pretty weak Jonny Fairplay. But the reality of it is, and we've discussed, you know, on the Patreon before, you know, he was cast. Erica Shea, who was like Lynn's number one in you know, her right hand man in casting at the time, like she was in the Miss America pageants, and Chet was the most notorious Miss America pageant coach in the world. He would take pieces of glass and grind them up and put them in girls' the opponent's shoes.
Wow.
You know, before they'd go out there, like he'd cut, you know, slice their dresses. You know, shit like the guy was just the most evil pageant coach on the planet, and they're just like, this guy is fucking Jonny Fairplay-esque, you know. And then he got out there, so, you know, and it's like, camping kind of sucks. And they're just
He's
like,
getting thrown around challenges too.
Yeah, it's just like, well, we might not have the other Jonny Fairplay. So I don't know who my counterpart would have been or whatever. All I know is that Hatch, if Hatch has his passport for Heroes Villains, I'm on Heroes Villains.
Wow.
So you know, for everyone that, well, hold on.
Okay, sorry.
So for anyone that says, you know, Jonny Fairplay's blacklisted, he, you know, had, you know, okay, the interview everyone cites is the one from Entertainment Weekly after the Vanuatu party, in which I got in a fight with Jeff's brother, and that's season 9. Jeff goes, he'll never be back. He'll, you know, Jonny Fairplay is persona non grata. Mm-hmm. I'm on fans versus favorites after that. So this blacklist thing that I'm supposedly on, I'm cast after that. Then whatever you want to call my performance on fans versus favorites, I mean, the people that know what really happened. 8 days before I went out there, Bonducci night, my front 4 teeth out. I had 4 root canals, 15 hours of surgery. My jaw was shattered. Should I have even played? No. But, you know, I was prepared to play. They my dentist made me a mouth guard. I had a white one and a hot pink one that they were going to allow me to use in challenges. When Yao-Man hits my head into the side of the boat as soon as the game starts, like I had no reason to have in my fucking mouth guard, you know, when we fucking walk out there. It's not a challenge or anything. It's just like, hey, there's 2 idols hidden here. Just go fucking grab them. When he throws my head in the side of the boat in my jaw, I'm just like, game over right there. So once again, like me and CBS, we don't hate, that happens. We fly back to the United States. The first phone call I get is CBS going, hey, we're doing commercials. We want you, Jonathan Penner, and Yao-Man to do the commercials to say, hey, we're back. You know, fans are, you know, like, you know, here's Jonny, all this shit. So we're more than cool. So, but yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay, so do you have any questions from your patrons?
No. Matt, do you have any questions for the patrons?
For the patrons or from the patrons? Well, we never I don't think, Jonny, that you put a APB out that we're doing.
No.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't.
So what's your podcast, Wes?
So we're called the Known Trolls. We're just like I don't know. We just kind of shit on people just for fun. You know, we're not assholes.
Yeah.
I just, you know, a bunch of friends I made in the community just get together, talk about what happened in the last episode, but then mostly kind of focus on the controversies that erupted on Twitter or social media. Right. Like, say, you know, this week Julia was kind of complaining about her edit.
Yes.
You know,
Russell Hantz chimed in.
What? Oh, he was saying it was bullshit, right?
He dropped the N-word a couple times, I heard.
Did he?
I don't know if it was via direct message or what. So, but no, I had a survivor contact me asking me how they should handle it. And I really would have loved to have stepped in personally, but I told that person, and I stand by it, myself. The best way to hurt Russell is to ignore him. So I just said, just ignore it. So, and that'll hurt him more than anything else. He feeds off that, like someone says something negative about me, block. I mean, I'll have someone hit me up on another version of social media. Like you say something on Twitter and, I don't get it or if it, I'm just like, see ya, block. And they'll be like, hey, I was joking. I'm like, yeah, I don't really like jokes. So, I mean, so as I said, I blocked 5 motherfuckers on Reddit today. Fuck them.
So Matt, I know where Fairplay stands with War Dog. Where do you stand? Are you the War Dog defender in here?
No, I mean, here's the thing, man. I mean, since the beginning, and I reached out to War Dog because Jonny and I do this podcast together. And I think the beauty of Jonny and I doing the podcast together is Jonny is the villain, and I'm Jonny's top 10 most nicest survivors he's ever met list, right? So I am a lover of all people typically, okay? So War Dog, when we did the cast assessment, there was a lot of negativity opinions from, I believe, Randy and Jonny. I thought War Dog is kind of trying to be a Tony Vlachos, but not really.
A low budget Tony Vlachos.
Yeah, but so I don't have this crazy animosity toward War Dog. I do agree with Jonny when Jonny says, look, man, the fucking problem I have with War Dog is pre-game, he's talking this big game like, I'm going to fucking go out there and do this fucking shit and this. And then he's playing a very tame game of Survivor, right? You're not seeing this War Dog that we thought. However, I don't think for War Dog's sake that's necessarily a bad thing. Like War Dog, I think, is actually playing somewhat of a smart game of Survivor.
I don't think he's playing a smart game because when you look at the people that Kelly Whitworth targets, it's a War Dog type personality. This motherfucker is going like you have a guy in Chris who like David and Kool-Aid Man, Rick Devens, they go, hey, we're making the move. We want you in with us. You got to keep a secret. And Chris is like, well, I got to tell my one guy, my number one, I got to tell. And so this guy is willing to sacrifice his game to give you information. And you're like, this is the guy I need to get rid of. The guy that's bending over backwards to give me information. And who is he saving? The girl that specializes in sending home people like the fucking War Dog.
Well, here's the thing.
So that's not smart play.
I don't think War Dog is making a big impact in the game of Survivor right now.
No.
He's making a big impact on social media because I think he's hanging on to whatever he can to try to make an impact in Survivor community one way or another.
Did you see he listened to our podcast?
He did.
No,
I did see that.
That was the first one he listened
the
to
reality
because he's a fucking mark.
I don't have an issue with War Dog like Jonny does. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. I don't think he's as. I was hoping. I love Tony Vlachos.
Yeah.
Spy Shack. Tony Vlachos was a badass, and yes, War Dog is not even a quarter of what Tony Vlachos' game was at this point in time.
Do you think you can get me War Dog's address for something?
Me? Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course.
Okay. I would like to send him something.
Okay. Yep. I'll get you War
Dog. I'm gonna shit in a bag.
Okay.
How great would that be?
Well, I have some biohazard bags at work, dude. I can give you.
Yeah, no, I just want to just be like, here's a review of the first part of your game. You're welcome.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'll say this about War Dog. I think he's at least bringing some heat onto Twitter. A lot of other contestants aren't really confident enough to express their opinions, and yet he is, though.
Well, they're getting scared, like as we saw Wednesday night, or did we see? I don't know because it hasn't happened yet, but it did according to this podcast. The survivors, the current survivors, got a cease and desist in that no more viewing parties.
You mean Joe Anglim and Aubrey and David and all them? Just the returnees, or just everyone in general?
Every current survivor is no longer allowed to do a viewing party.
Oh wow!
So does that mean that Keith is not going to be is that Keith not going to be at your party?
Well, it happened 2 nights ago from when this dropped. But he hasn't told me any differently. Because I explained to him that, well, number one, he had already agreed, so it should be ex post facto as far as how the rule is fucking enforced. But number two, I'm not, he's not going to be on the actual podcast. He should be able to hang out with supporters, and he should be able to come to Jonny Fairplay's birthday party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, the fact of the matter is, when CBS should encourage... I mean, when I played Survivor, I had viewing parties at a Buffalo Wild Wings every week, and the local CBS fucking news. I played by the rules. Local CBS News wanted to come every week to my fucking parties, but they were not allowed to fucking come in because Survivor was they're like, you can fucking film outside the venue, but you're not allowed to come in and film. Why
Survivor said that?
Yes, to the
Why?
fucking CBS News. And so they interviewed a lot of my friends outside the fucking restaurant, but they couldn't come in and film me.
It's so crazy.
And if I played again, I would never even ask permission from CBS. I would just fucking do it, right? The fact that they don't allow you would think if I'm doing a viewing party for hundreds of local fucking fans that they would want that promoted because they want fucking viewers to watch their stupid ass show. So when they're trying to fucking stop that, it makes zero sense to me at all. Like, why? What is the reasoning behind it? Are you afraid that you sign a non-disclosure? If fucking the local CBS News comes into my viewing party, dude, to film me watching this show with these fans, do you think I'm gonna risk my prize money and this, that, and the other by giving away some secret? Fuck no. That's why you have the non-disclosure. So if they're so keen on their non-disclosure agreement, then let anyone fucking do a party and promote the fuck out of it. I don't get it
either. So, but that's the new. It went down because we were gonna do the big charity thing in Bristol with Gavin, and so we're gonna do everything to give kids the world, and they're like, nope, Gavin can't do any more viewing parties.
Well, I'd say
he had a viewing party with like 400 people for the premiere, and then he's had a bunch of people since then, but not anymore. They killed it.
Was it just with your podcast stuff, or was it just in general?
No, everyone. No, fuck, my shit's going. I will be, I will be in Baltimore April 10th. I will be in Nashville April 24th, and I will be in Santa Monica May 1st. Tickets available at SurvivorTix.com and SurvivorAfterHours.com. Thank you very much. So let's do some fucking amazing race parties on Friday nights, Matt.
Yeah, no shit.
We can do it Friday night.
That's right.
Is that when the Amazing Race comes on?
I think so.
Let's do that.
We should.
Fuck it.
Oh yeah.
All right, there we go. New fucking. I was gonna take the summer off, but fuck it. No one's fucking calling over here. Not with good news.
So you had this guy on Tommy Smokes last week, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been.
It was actually Matt shaved and then grew all that back in a week.
So I've been a Barstool fan for a long time.
Sure.
And Tommy Smokes came onto that website like 2 years ago. This guy is a clown. He's a big time clown. I hope he's listening to this right now. maybe I'll challenge him to some debate on this podcast in the future. But he is like the living embodiment of like a Survivor Reddit like nerd. He's
Really?
like these people are just like, oh, I'd be so good at this game. Like I'm the best. Like I'm the best that's never played before. This guy would be voted out on day 6.
Well, day 6 is not. I mean, like
Okay.
day 6 is a possible threat. No, day 6 isn't. Day 9 is. No,
okay.
day 6, you're the second least. You're the second most annoying person there.
Maybe day 9, like Ryan Shoulders. Was he a day 9 guy?
No, day 9 is like a Chris guy. That's a compliment.
Okay, day 3 then.
Day 3 is you're annoying. Day 6 is you're annoying. Unless you ask.
Ryan was day 6, right?
Ryan, well, all right. So Nicole was day 3. Ryan day 6. Ryan Shoulders, yeah, Skinny Ryan, who I'm hoping will be
Skinny Ryan or Fat Ryan?
Oh, he's Fat Ryan now. He was Skinny Ryan.
Listen, can you hear that?
You farting?
No, I'm pissing in a fucking garbage can.
Oh, Jesus! This guy goes to the basement. he's turned into a caveman.
Well, we're an hour and 5 minutes in.
All right.
All right.
What's your last question, Wes?
The only Survivor podcast where you can watch the host take a piss.
I'm taking a piss. I have a fucking silver brushed nickel garbage can down here, and I decided to take a piss in it.
Hopefully there was no splatter.
No, there's no bag. It's just fucking.
Oh my God! Put that away.
Oh shit! It's leaking. Oh no!
Is there...
Oh no! Oh no! How is it leaking? Okay. Go Patreon. Not only, and I got my Kakalaki shirt on, Johnny.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Not only did I get kicked out of my fucking upstairs,
pissed on the floor,
but I just pissed, and apparently the fucking garbage can I pissed in leaks, so I stuck that in another garbage can to save my ass. But anyways, that's the beauty of Patreon.
Okay, here's the last question. What happens to Survivor in the history of Survivor if you win Pro Islands? How does that change the course of the Survivor history?
Sandra is never cast again.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra is barely cast for Heroes Villains.
You're probably cast again, you know?
Probably cast again. I may be the first ever 2-time winner.
Speaking of that, since I'm watching Heroes Villains, and I did the watch along with Jonny for Pearl Islands, it boggles my mind the amount of luck that Sandra had to win 2 times, because Heroes Villains, she has proven thus far to have done nothing.
So are you familiar with her Pearl Islands game of doing nothing?
Right, I know. And it's like, and then watching this dude, like Russell Hantz, excuse me, and Poverty, and these people are like, man, they're actually playing the game. And Sandra's doing nothing. And the fact, I don't know how it's going to play out. I forget, dude, because I don't have this nerd fucking photographic memory.
Yeah.
When I watch Token Chins, I'm like, okay, I remember JT wins this season. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
The only thing I remember is that Sierra girl. She ended up dating one of the producers or camera guy. I think it was a producer. And I'm thinking that he was probably he's probably started being smitten with her out there, because when Tyson tells production that Sierra is next to go, the immunity challenge is they have like a shuffleboard, you know, with the sand, but it's raining, and shuffleboard doesn't work in the fucking rain, and it's just like they're saving this chick.
Yeah, right.
They're like, there's no way this challenge, like, you know, shuffleboard, it can't, like, there's no way this challenge happens if Sierra's not Tyson's target.
Right.
I think they move challenges around so that, you know, it's just like, hey, if any, you know, if dumb luck could play a factor here, doing stuff more in the rain, that's where dumb luck takes precedent.
Right. Right on.
Versus, true ability. Like, like if it look at any other challenge after that, it's just like, okay, Tyson probably, like, Sierra doesn't win that, Tyson definitely wins, he sends her home.
Right.
So,
Right on.
there you go. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you. I've had a blast. Honestly,
how
dude,
do we do?
Are we still live? Are we still going?
We're recording. We're recording because
Well,
I'm gonna. So I just want to say, everyone that's a patron, thank you for being patient last week when I was sick and out of commission. It was fucking terrible, and I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for these Q&As and watch-alongs and everything else we got going. And I promise you guys, I will be doing some videos down here in my basement that Johnny's been talking about of my fucking Lego room. And so there, right there, is some Nerf fucking guns. Over here is 3 televisions that has a PS4, a Switch, a Nintendo, a Wii U, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One. I got like fucking every game system down here. So I will show you this shit in detail. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, patrons, for supporting what we're doing. It means a lot. Johnny and I spent a lot of time and a lot of passion and love doing these things for you. So yeah,
More passion than love.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's more love than passion. I don't know. It's tough.
Right. But yeah, we will see you next Friday for another Q&A on Survivor NSFW. Cheers.
Yeah, you
So
can follow me on,
get your plugs in, Wes. What do you got?
You can follow me on Twitter at Wes Dorne, WESDORNE. And yeah, that's it. I'm just
That's
here
it?
just here to have a good time.
There you go. Well, plug it. We will put your Twitter @handle in the description on the Q&A.
Fantastic. And now this is the official Urinal Bucket podcast.
It feels it.
Dude.
Don't show us anything.